And we are so happy that you were able to come in and join us. We are grateful that you are here. We're going to provide you with loads of information that's going to be good and hopefully answer the many questions that you have. So, the first things first, I want to take care of some housekeeping. If you do not mind, please look at that little bar that should be up on your screen. You will see a microphone. If you can make sure that there is a line through that microphone, that will mute your line. If you are online joining us, if you are on the phone joining us, please do us a favor and mute your line so that everyone can hear all of the great information that we have to share for you today. So once again, there is a bar on your screen. Go ahead and find that little microphone on that bar and click it, and it will mute your line. Also, if you have a question, we're going to hold all questions to the end of the presentation. So if you can hold your questions to the end of the presentation, that will be great. However, please feel free to add them to the chat box. We will have someone in the chat box that will be present answering them, and we will revisit all questions at the end of the presentation and read them off, specifically for those people that are joining us by way of telephone, and share the questions and answers just in case you have that same question. So you can locate the checkbox on that same little bar that's located on your screen, and it looks like a little notepad. If you click on that, that will be your chat box. So do us a favor, let's try it out now. Go ahead and click on that chat box and just let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what city you're located in, city and state, if not Pennsylvania. Once again, we represent the Southeastern PA American Red Cross. However, we are one Red Cross, and therefore our mission remains the same throughout the nation, and we are more than happy to get you connected to your local Red Cross chapter so that you can get the information that you need and get started as a volunteer, hopefully. All right. So just make sure those lines are muted for me, please. Some of the purposes of our meeting today. We want to review the mission of the Red Cross as well as our fundamental values. This is the core of everything that we do. So it's important for you to know exactly the why behind the Red Cross and what we do and how we go about doing it. In addition to that, we want to discuss the Red Cross volunteer opportunities during national disaster relief operations and at local blood drives. What we are sharing with you today is in no way all of the volunteer opportunities that we have here with the organization. And I'm going to ask that you just make sure that your mute is on. If you have the initials KM, please put your line on mute. Thank you so very much. We're going to definitely share with you the mission critical positions that we have available right now, but it's in no way the totality of what we have as far as volunteer opportunities. We are going to introduce you to some key workforce members that are available to support you. I am so happy to be doing this presentation with my colleagues, which includes my team members on a recruitment team, as well as some other team members and volunteers that are active in the roles that we're going to present to you. And we're going to show you how you can get started. We are going to help you along the process so that you can begin your Red Cross volunteer experience. Sounds good? So let's go ahead. I am so honored to present to you our panel of presenters for this evening that's going to share this information with you. As I stated, my name is Monica Wiles, and I am with our Volunteer Services Department as a senior specialist here in Philadelphia. more specifically, but I support the entire Southeastern PA region. Along with myself, I'm joined by my colleagues, Ned Bloom and Lynn Cohen, who are both Volunteer Services Senior Specialists. We are also joined by Ms. Janice Thomas, who is our Volunteer Disaster Cycle Services, or Volunteer within Disaster Cycle Services, excuse me, and Ms. Tracy Howard, who is a volunteer in our Biomedical Services Department. And we're all going to present some good information for you as it relates to those positions that we stated, those mission critical positions. The mission of the Red Cross is simple. We prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. This is at the center of everything that we do. We focus on this mission to carry out the mission, if you will. Some of those fundamental principles that kind of stand as the foundation for that mission is humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independence, unity, and universality. And you may say, you skipped over an entire section. I know. Voluntary service. 90% of our workforce is volunteers. We could not, absolutely could not do anything that we do without our volunteers. Our volunteer workforce is extremely important to us fulfilling and carrying out our mission. And that's why we take the time that we do to share with you the information so that you can make a decision if you would like to be a part of that 90% workforce. We have volunteers in every single area and capacity of this organization. And there is more room for more. There's a space for you. This here is our national president, Ms. Gail McGovern. And I want to share with you a quote that she recently shared with us this past July. Ms. McGovern said, "We are here for a singular purpose, to alleviate suffering. Red Crossers are humanitarians who see a need and they in turn need to fill it. This is our culture, which has stood the test of time since Clara Barton founded our beloved organization. We have the culture in place to make a difference. And in fact, we do that every day. As I've often said, the American Red Cross is a beacon of hope. And we definitely embody every single word that Gail said in this. It sums it up so perfectly as to our organization and why we do what we do and how we do what we do. So we're hoping that the information that we share with you as it relates to these positions that are mission critical, you would really take it in. Once again, ask any questions that you have, place them in the chat box, and we'll take the moment to answer them at the end of the presentation. And really, get your questions answered and heard so that you can make an informed decision as to joining us with the Red Cross. So without further ado, I want to pass it on to my colleague, Ned Bloom, who's going to share some information about disaster relief operations with you. So Ned, take it away.
Well, thank you very much, Monica. And again, thank you everybody for joining us today. As Monica said, the mission of the American Red Cross continues only because of amazing volunteers and individuals. And we appreciate you being here today and considering joining our organization. I started as a volunteer myself about 10 or 12 years ago. I started in our disaster services department, and I responded to a lot of local disasters. And as I gained some experience, I actually started to go into what we call these national disaster relief operations. And these are some of the positions we're going to talk to you about today and ask you to consider joining us on one of these operations. I don't have to tell you, if you see the news, you've seen that this has been an amazing season for hurricanes. We've had more hurricanes this time of the season than we've ever had before. The experts are predicting it's going to only be a busier and busier season, and we're only now starting to enter the busy season. It's been a remarkable season, not just for hurricanes, but also for wildfires. Again, if you look at the news, you see the record heat that they're having out west. Wildfires are decimating neighborhoods. And every time there's a fire, every time there's a mass disaster like this, whether it be a hurricane, a flood, or a tornado, wildfire, the Red Cross, we respond. Our volunteers respond from around the nation. We open up mass care shelters. We already have agreements in places in gymnasiums, churches, schools, auditoriums, convention centers. And when we need, we activate those contracts and we set these up as mass care shelters. And our volunteers run these shelters, every aspect of them. And this is where we're going to need you. And we're going to talk about some of the positions, if you will, that we're looking for your help at these mass care shelters. We actually have 4 positions. They come in 2 pairs. The first set of pairs is what we call being a shelter service associate and supervisor, working every operation of the shelter, everything from registration to helping out with the dormitory area, which is what we call where we set up the cots, to help with feeding, to help with distribution of supplies. These shelters become people's homes when they lose their homes. And we have Red Cross volunteers there coordinating everything, collecting information, making sure they're fed, making sure they're safe. Again, I've been on a couple of these national deployments myself, and I cannot tell you, it's hard work. I'm not going to lie, but it is the most remarkable, rewarding experience you could ever imagine. So we need shelter associates and supervisors if you've got any supervisory experience. In fact, I want to introduce right now one of my favorite volunteers, Janice Thomas, who's actually been on a couple of these disasters herself. And I'm going to ask Janice if she could please come in and tell her story about why she likes volunteering the Red Cross and why she thinks you should consider volunteering with the Red Cross. Janice?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I have been a volunteer with the Red Cross for 3.5 years. During that time, I've gone on 2 deployments nationally. And I just finished, I'm in a deployment right now, but it happens to be local. And I will tell you a little bit about that later. My first deployment that I went on was in 2018, and it was to North Carolina for Hurricane Florence. We landed at the Raleigh-Durham Airport, and our shelter that we needed to get to was in the southeast corner of North Carolina. But since they had a lot of flooding, the roads were not drivable. So they called in the National Guard, and we arrived at the shelter by a Black Hawk helicopter. That was my first experience of ever being on a helicopter, and I have to admit it was fun. Last year I went down to Georgia for Hurricane Dorian. No Black Hawk helicopter this time. But the experience you gain from each deployment and knowing you are helping people during the worst time of their life is very rewarding. Plus, you make so many new friendships with fellow Red Cross volunteers and employees that after you return home, you keep in touch with all your new friends. There are several jobs that are available in sheltering. You may be registering people as they enter the shelter. You may be assisting in feeding. And a very important job in a shelter is just having a shoulder to lean on or an open ear. Remember, these people just lost everything they may have had, and the only thing they have is what they brought to the shelter. Disasters can also happen in our region, the Southeastern Pennsylvania region. We are just finishing up a level 4 DR here in our region. And you may want to know what a level 4 is. Every time we spend more money in the Red Cross, it goes up each level. So if it's a level 2, it's probably a multifamily fire. But by the time you get to a level 3 and up, and major hurricanes can be a level 6, level 7. But here we had a level 4. We had to bring in people from our division all over the Northeast because we didn't have enough volunteers to help us. So if you sign up, we can always use you. So we had 3 shelters open in hotels in 3 different areas in our region. And we took care of approximately over 400 people who had been flooded out because of the tropical storm Isaias. I probably pronounced it wrong. I apologize. I can assure you that if you take on the necessary training and become a shelter worker for the Red Cross, you will find it very rewarding and knowing you are helping people during their worst time of their life. I want to thank you, and I'm also the regional mass care lead for this region, so I hope you will consider joining the Red Cross, and I look forward to meeting you one day. And I do have meetings every other week, so if you come on, you'll meet me on these meetings, and we are there to answer any of your questions, answer your questions about training, but you'll find it very rewarding. And I have enjoyed every minute of being on the Red Cross. So thank you. Ed and Ned?
Thank you, Janice. That was spot on. And thank you for everything you do. Again, volunteers lead what we do. I started as a volunteer. My first disaster response was to Massachusetts. I've been to Louisiana. I've been to Arkansas. And my friends will say, Ned, that's so wonderful. You get to go to these great places. But the fact is, the welcome window is not open for vacationing. You're there to help people. And I cannot tell you about it's the most rewarding thing you may ever do. Now, to be a shelter associate or a supervisor, we'll help train you. You don't need a lot of prior experience. So we'll make sure you get trained. The other two positions that we have available at our shelters are for healthcare professionals exclusively. Imagine we have 50, 100, 600 people in a shelter. We need healthcare professionals on site to help them with minor injuries, scrapes, scratches, helping them with their medication. Perhaps their medication needs to be refrigerated, or perhaps they need help administering it or getting it replenished. This is where we need healthcare professionals. These shelters are like mini cities where everything is needed by these people there because they've arrived with nothing. But our volunteers make sure that everything they need is provided for them. So if you've got the proper healthcare licensing and you can help us at a shelter, if you can please use some of your skills, some of your expertise, and some of your compassion, we urge you to come and join us as a shelter healthcare professional. So again, these are the 4 positions that we have in shelters: shelter supervisors and associates, healthcare supervisors and associates. Of course, there's some expectations that we have of you and some expectations that you have of us. And we can go to the next slide. We can actually discuss some of those. So imagine it happens. A hurricane hits. Within 24 to 48 hours, we're going to reach out to the people that have been trained, that have said that they're available, and say, are you ready to go? You're going to be on a plane in 24 hours. We'll take care of the travel costs. We'll take care of the accommodations. We'll take care of all the training costs, okay? It's all covered by the Red Cross, but you have to be ready to go within 24 hours. Chances are you're going to be on a deployment for 14 days, about 2 weeks. There's a little flexibility for the healthcare professionals there that if you can only get away for 10 days or so, we understand, we'll work with you. Again, we'll be as flexible as you need, okay? All the costs are covered. Nothing's going to come out of your pocket, okay? In fact, you're actually going to get what we call a mission card, kind of a credit card, if you will, to help with some pre-approved expenses while you're on a trip, while you're on a deployment. Remember, though, these shelters operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're going to work multiple days, long shifts. You'll get an occasional day off, but you're going to be there to work. And again, I call it work, but it's just so rewarding. I mean, I've come back from DRs just filled with such love and such fulfillment and knowing that I helped people when they needed it. In terms of lodging, because we are operating under a COVID environment, and that is critical. We are operating under a COVID environment, so all COVID precautions will be observed while you're in a shelter. You're going to be lodged most likely in a hotel yourself, but without a roommate. So you're going to have a single room to yourself. You may have to move around occasionally. Again, flexibility is one of our rules. Focus on the client. Do everything you can to help the folks that are in that shelter, but also take care of yourself. Take care of your teammates. Be professional. You are representing the American Red Cross. And knowing when the deployment ends, you're going to get some feedback on your performance. We're going to ask you your opinion as well, what we can do better. Okay, we are always developing. We're a fluid organization. We're learning from our volunteers all the time. Every single DR is slightly the same. Every single DR, I apologize for using the acronym, disaster relief. We use a lot of acronyms in the Red Cross. Every single disaster relief operation is unique. And every single disaster relief operation has some also similarities. And the reason we ask you to get trained is because you're going to be working with somebody from Minnesota. You're going to be working from somebody from California. And it's important when you all get there that you're all trained the same way and operating under the same procedures. So please, we urge you, if you have the availability, and if you have it in your heart, help us out on disaster relief operation. Join us. Become a volunteer. Of course, as Monica said earlier, we have a lot of positions available. And if the helping on a relief operation, helping on a deployment, helping nationally is not for you, we have operations that are also local, and we have some local needs. You all know about our blood services and how we recruit blood, how we save people by blood drives. So if you'd like to be a local volunteer, I'm going to introduce my colleague Lynn Cohen, who's going to tell you about some of those opportunities that you can do closer to home. Lynn, take it away.
Thank you, Ned, so much. Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it's an amazing experience. We've learned so much from the volunteers who deployed. And we just really, if you have it in your heart and you're a healthcare professional and a volunteer, you want to help, this is where you're going to make a really huge impact. We're talking about mission critical opportunities today. So the thing is that we have probably over about 500 different opportunities with all our different lines of service at the Red Cross. But today we're focusing on our mission critical. And as Ned was saying, local blood drives are like at the absolute top of the list because of COVID. So many blood drives were canceled across the country, and the account managers, the biomedical team has been doing a great job trying to find new locations to host blood drives. So in our region, we have mobile drives and we have fixed location sites. One of those fixed sites is in Center City, Philadelphia. We have another one in Northeast Philadelphia, one in Willow Grove, which is Montgomery County, and another one in Westchester, in Chester County. So we have some local places where you can volunteer all the time. Whatever your or whatever your schedule dictates, we have an opportunity and probably a shift available for you. Mostly the blood drives are Monday through Friday during normal business hours. And as I shared, you only work drives that are convenient for you. And so once you get onboarded, you'll have access to a shift scheduler, and you'll be able to pick and select those shifts that are good for you, near for you. Our blood drives with the BDAs, the blood donor ambassadors, run smoother. They always collect more blood, which makes saving more lives equaling more birthday parties, weddings, graduations, and all the happy moments that we love to celebrate in people's lives. And again, when you're talking about impact, that's a huge, huge impact you're having during your volunteer experience. And with that, the next slide, I'm going to turn it over to one of our fabulous volunteers, Tracy Howard, who is going to be talking about her experience as a blood donor ambassador. So Tracy, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Tracy. Go ahead. Do you want to turn on your camera?
Oh, I thought I turned it on. Did I turn it back off? No, I see me.
I see me now. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm Tracy Howard, and I am a blood donor ambassador. I've been working with the Red Cross for 3.5 years, and I can say that my favorite type of people are those who care about other people, and that's why I connect with the Red Cross. So every blood donor that shows up at the blood drive, I consider them to be a VIP guest. And as a VIP guest, we want to make sure that they get top-notch positive experience because we want to see them again. I try to connect with them right away at the registration desk and making them feel comfortable. On their name tag, how would you like your name to be spelled? How do you pronounce it? maybe I got a quick antidote for that. Maybe they have some wonderful swag like I'm wearing today, something already made for all of the I should say donors that come in. Sometimes you get a free t-shirt. Or maybe I connect with them with, I'm always wearing a groovy hat at Go Eagles. But that's my way of making them feel comfortable and welcome that they are coming today. That shero or hero, after they have given their blood, I welcome them to the party room. Oh, that's where they hydrate up on some water. They enjoy our snacks, maybe some juice, and the conversation continues. Well, most of all, before they leave, we want to thank them for coming and hopefully encourage them to schedule another time that they can come and give blood. And again, hope to see them again. So now maybe they've caught the serving bug and said, hey, you know, I had a great experience and I might want to be a volunteer. Well, I started out as a blood donor ambassador, but I got that serving bug. And so I said, hey, what else can I do for the Red Cross? Well, I ventured into the Pillowcase Project, which is working with elementary school age students about emergency preparedness. I also start helping out at the warehouse to get together the supplies just for the blood drives. I also worked a couple of times in recruitment at special events. Sound the alarm, that helps families get smoke carbon detectors. A couple of other things I could think of. Hey, I think I even did the telethon, and I've put together some of the blood drives in Montgomery, Chester County, and Philadelphia. So the American Red Cross has a spot for just about everybody that comes out. We love all of our blood drive donors, but again, there's an opportunity that they too may want to become a volunteer. So keep that under your hat. We hope to see you. And now I'm going to turn it back over to Miss Lynn.
Thank you, Tracy. That was awesome. Thank you so much. We love and enjoy your enthusiasm and appreciation for all of the donors, and we appreciate you for everything that you do. So thank you. So yeah, so there's a lot of potential to become a Red Cross volunteer. Even the donors, you know, we're trying to work more with our blood account managers to let them know about the opportunities that the donors could do. I mean, we love that they donate blood because they're saving 3 lives every time they donate 1 pint of blood. At all of our blood drives right now, we do take donor temperatures before they even are able to enter the drive area, and we are observing all established protocols set up by the CDC for safety precautions. You'll be supplied with PPE, personal protective equipment, gloves, a mask. All donors have to wear a mask. And as Tracy shared, you know, it's like, you know, treating a VIP coming in, and you get to be that hospitality, warm and friendly, welcoming person. If you love people, this is definitely a role for you. You can help them with the intake process, registration. And then when she said, like, going to the party room, you know, it's also, you kind of get trained on how to alert professional staff if a donor shows signs of dizziness or weakness after their blood donation. Some people get affected by it, but so, and it's just, you know, a feeling, a strong sense of purpose. You know, you are saving blood, you are saving lives, like people who have cancer, people who have leukemia, sickle cell disease. There are so many reasons, major accidents, just everyday surgeries where people need blood. And so it's so important that we have the donors, but also the donor ambassadors who help them through that donation experience. So with that, we hope that you're interested and reach out to us and join us. We really could use your assistance. So I'm going to turn it back over to Monica, our hostess. So thank you. Thanks again, Tracy.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Janice and Ned. Wow, some great information. And one of the things that I truly take away is something that Tracy stated. She said her favorite type of people are those who care about other people. I wrote that down, Tracy, because I happen to agree. And one of the great things about the American Red Cross is we have a lot of people that truly, truly care about people. And we want to add you to our team because we need more people that care about people to help us fulfill our mission of alleviating suffering in the face of disaster. So you may ask yourself, how can you become a volunteer? I see something that I like. I've heard something that I'm interested in. I have a little bit of extra time. I want to give back. I care about people. This is how you can become a volunteer with the organization. Every volunteer goes through an application process. It's a full onboarding process, actually. And the first step is that application process. So there's a few ways that you can actually access our application. You can go online to www.redcross.org/volunteer. Once again, that's www.redcross.org/volunteer. And that will take you to our online application. You will also be able to see some additional information as it relates to volunteering with the organization through that link. So you should be able to find that link in the chat box as well. In addition to that, you can actually access our app on your smartphone. So whatever type of smartphone you have and wherever you download your apps, you're going to locate the Volunteer Connection app. You'll know that you have the right app because it will be in our signature red and white colors, and you will see the Red Cross symbol there. So download our app if you're comfortable with that, and you will be able to complete an application right from there. And if you say to yourself, you know what, I don't like apps and I'm not comfortable with the computer, no fret. You can contact our VIPC line, and that is at 844-621-4243. Once again, that's 844-621-4243. And one of our VIPC members would be more than happy to assist you with completing your application. Once your application is completed, you're going to be contacted by a member of our volunteer screening team. They're going to make sure that you have background clearances and credentials confirmed. As an organization that's interacting with the community at large, we definitely want to make sure that not only are you safe, but also the community is safe as well. So that's why we have background clearances. And if you're going for one of our healthcare positions, just verifying your credentialing information. And the volunteer screening team is also going to answer any additional questions that you may have at that time, which is really cool. They're a really great group of men and women, very knowledgeable as well. So that will be your second step. As Ned stated earlier, training is available. You are not alone here at the Red Cross. We are not going to assign you to something and just leave you. Any position that you decide to join, you'll receive training online and or on site. So for sheltering positions, blood donor ambassador, etc., you will get online and on-site training. Someone that's there to kind of show you the way, answer any questions that you may have, etc. In addition to that, we have opportunities. Ned told you guys about the national deployments. We talked about some of the local blood drives that we have. We have also larger blood drives. I think Tracy mentioned one, that are like considered mega blood drives, that are available. Different opportunities that you can team up with and take advantage of. And in addition to that, as a follow-up, we're going to stay involved, engagement, recognition. We're going to make sure that if you are not engaging, that we find ways in which to keep you engaged. And we recognize our volunteers. You're not just volunteering without a thank you. Even though you're doing it because you have a love of helping others, we make sure that we let you know that we appreciate you and all that you do on behalf of the organization and helping us to fulfill our mission. So that's the road to volunteering. And we do want to assist you with that and getting started. If you should have any questions, we are here to support you. So here is our contact information as the Volunteer Services team. Once again, my name is Monica Wiles and I oversee all of Philadelphia County. So if you are within that area, you can contact me at 215-299-4803. I'll say that one more time. It's 215-299-4803. And my email address is Monica, and that's with a C, .Wiles, WILDES, @redcross.org. Covering Montgomery and Bucks counties is Ned Bloom. So if you are in those areas or within those counties, you can contact Ned at 570-417-5608. Once again, it's 570-417-5608. And Ned's email address is ned.bloom@redcross.org. If you are in Chester and Delaware counties, you're going to contact Lynn. Lynn oversees those counties, and her telephone number is 610-216-9785. Once again, at 610-216-9785. And Lynn's email address is lynn.cohen@redcross.org. And once again, that application can be found at www.redcross.org/volunteer. So if you have any questions, you want to just have a discussion, get a feel for other areas that we may have volunteer positions in, because once again, we fulfill our mission through 5 lines of services. So we just touched on disaster services and blood services, but we also have additional areas that we support the communities in, such as service to the armed forces. So we would love to be able to have that conversation with you if you feel like you want to join forces with this organization, but may not feel that disaster or blood services is what you want to do, or those particular positions are not what you want to do. We're more than happy to have that conversation with you and talk you through the process. So here is that wonderful opportunity that we get to hear from you. If you have any questions at all, so I'm going to ask in the chat room if Jordan is available, if there's any questions in the chat room. And if Jordan is not there, then Ned.
I'm here. There's just
Hi, Jordan. I wasn't sure I couldn't see you.
There's just no questions in the chat right now that I see.
No questions at all? All right. And if anyone has a question, please just raise your hand and we'll get to it. I'm sure the question that you have, someone else may have as well. I know we usually get questions regarding time commitment or things such as that. So please feel free to share your questions. I'll give you a couple seconds. And I don't think I can see if anyone's hand is raised. So if anyone raises their hand, please Let me know. No questions at all? Oh, wow, team, we did an amazing job of sharing some information. I hope you guys really enjoyed this.
We got one question from Peggy asking how long is a typical blood drive?
All right, so I am going to pass that on to someone that I saw log in. We have Miss Sharita Early with us, who is the supervisor of that area. Sharita, you want to share information on that?
Good afternoon. That is a fantastic question. So a typical blood drive is anywhere between 4 and 6 hours. I say 4 because the fixed sites that Monica did mention in the beginning of the presentation, such as Center City, 700 Spring Garden, we have a fixed donor center, and the Northeast in Philadelphia. Those shifts are broken down into 2 individual 3.5-hour shifts. But it is also beneficial if a volunteer decides that they can bridge together 2 shifts and work 5 hours. So at a fixed site, you could either work 3.5 hours or 5 hours total. Mobile blood drives that happen throughout the region are either 5 or 6 hours.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharita. And I want you guys to know I totally put her on the spot. She did not know I was going to ask her to answer that.
You did, so I quickly moved from one screen and I jumped back to the other screen. I was clicking feverishly. But you know, I'm always here to help you guys. And I just logged on today to really support you and let you know that we're always here for you, and whatever needs you have, we're right here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharita. Do we have any other questions, Jordan?
No, not right now. Not any in the chat.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to move right along. Once again, remember, if you have any questions that you did not have an opportunity to answer here and you get off of the presentation and say, I meant to ask that, please feel free to reach out to any one of us. Additionally, as we stated earlier, even if you're not from the Southeastern PA region and you have questions or you're interested in getting involved, we are One Red Cross, and we will get you connected with your local Red Cross chapter so that they can assist you with getting onboarded and starting your volunteer experience with the organization. All right, so thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your afternoon/evening to share with us and listen to us share information with you. We appreciate you. Please don't keep this to yourself. Share with someone else you know. If you are looking to volunteer with us, we look forward to having you on board and getting to know you. If you say, it's not for me right now, please share with someone else. You never know what someone is willing to do or what someone is looking for. Volunteering is an amazing outlet, not just as it relates to health and wellness, but it's also an amazing outlet to gain new skills, build your network, etc. So we are grateful that we have the opportunity and the ability to be able to expand and enhance someone's experience in such a way. And we don't take that for granted. So thank you for coming on board. We want to leave you with this. This is a quote from Irma Bombeck, and she said, "Volunteers are the only human beings on the face of the earth who reflect this nation's compassion, unselfish, caring, patience, and just plain loving one another." So as you leave us, continue to be safe. Thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely appreciate you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening and rest of your week. Take care now.
Thank you all. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Stay safe.
It really is. The Flyers are now up a commanding 3-1 on the Montreal Canadiens in their playoff series. And now the Flyers are 1 week away from winning their first playoff series. 8 years.
listening